My name is Joseph Hurst. I live in Ankeny, Iowa, and I'm a part of the PMBA program. I currently work as the Director of Sales at Stony Creek Hotels in Johnston, Iowa, and I chose the Iowa State MBA program because it just made perfect sense. About 2 years ago, I started this wonderful program, and I couldn't imagine not having done it. What has helped the most balance work, life, school, has been the people I'm in class with. It's great to go through questions, problems, study for tests, and it just makes the whole class so much easier. As a working professional thinking about doing an MBA program, I get night classes aren't everybody's dream. I get after a long day of work, you may not want to go do more, but it's worth it. You're going to learn a lot, not just from the professors in the program, but from the other students. They come from all walks of life. They are from different age groups. They're from different companies. They're from all kinds of different backgrounds. They've got all kinds of different stories. And after 2 years, I've made some of the best friends I've ever made, learned the most I've ever learned, and I can't imagine what we're going to do after we're done.
Every year, you have a choice. One that says staying independent and family-owned means something on your farm. So plant your independence. Plant Wivels.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum, from the Wild Rose Casino Studio. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? Welcome to Williams and Blum. Not on a Sunday. On a Monday. Late Monday. I apologize. It's on me. Hope everybody saw the social media post. A little 24-hour delay in the program this week. Father's Day. Well, happy Father's Day to you, Bloom.
You too.
We were dancing all weekend long up in Ames.
You survived. You survived.
I did. Shocking number of dance dads at the Ankeny Dance Academy that are fans of the show.
I ran into about 200 people said love the show at the Iowa Cubs event that we had on Saturday. So appreciate everybody that said hi.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get out to that.
It's all right.
You know, this dance weekend, the dance dads get it. Like it takes over. There's just so much that goes into it.
Okay, so we had Taman, Cade, Audie, Addie.
That's a nice crew.
Dom, Orange,
Yep.
Rocco
Oh, wow.
Bex,
Big Dom was out there?
and Ariana Jackson. Who do you think threw the best first pitch?
Dom.
You think Dom threw the best first pitch?
Big guy. I'm a big guy. I like a D-line guy. You know that.
That is shockingly correct. I think.
Yeah!
Actually, it was Big Dom who had picked up a baseball, he said, like 15 years.
Big citrus, baby. I'm a big citrus guy.
And Addie Brown threw a bullseye. I'm not throwing him under the bus, but the quarterback's good at throwing footballs.
I kind of figured that Taman would have a good fastball.
Yeah, he did. He was because
he just seems like an all-around athlete.
I think, and he is. I think Dom surprised me the most, though. I think you nailed it. So that was cool. Thank you for everybody who came out and said hello. The guys and gals had a great time, and man, we can work with some cool athletes. I'll tell you that much. They were tremendous.
We do. We got a great group.
Yeah,
got a great group. Great group of people support us on Cyclone Fanatic as well. Our friends at Mechdyne, the Mechdyne Corporation. Thanks to Chris Clover and his team. That's MECHDYNE.com. They're recruiting for marketing people, salespeople in Naperville, Illinois, and in Marshalltown. Again, they are on the look. They're seeking new employees. So Mechdyne.com. Go to that job board today. We had big news today. We couldn't make big news like this without all of our great subscribers, just people who listen to the show, share the show, all of our great content at Cyclone Fanatic, where we have a new hire and a young man who I really like a lot. I think the thing I like about him the most is how hard he works. Dude has a Psy tattooed on his leg. He's cloned to the bone, but he's a pro when it comes to the old journalism thing too. So we've hired Jake Brend. The 2024 Sportscaster of the Year in Iowa, Blum, and we are really investing in video and the way we cover Iowa State and making it more available in the digital age, which is kind of like we're always preaching the evolve or die thing, and this is the next evolution of Cyclone Fanatic, is making our content more readily available on social media, on the YouTube page, more of it. And I think this is going to be a really, really cool thing to see wherever this is going to go. We had about a 2-hour meeting today, Jake and Jacqueline and Rob and I and Aiden. And it was one of those meetings where the ideas just start bouncing off the wall. And Jake will be going with me to Dallas here in a couple of weeks for Big 12 Media Day. So fired up. Big news, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah, it's like grabbing Cooper Flag out of the portal. That's what it is. I think the world of Jake. I think the world of Jake. Like he's again. I mean, I don't say this arrogantly, but it takes a lot to kind of impress me in regards to historical Iowa State knowledge, and he's not an old guy like us anymore. But man, he knows everything. Like he is.
Well, he's a sicko. He's the type that's up watching the Arizona game like really late.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
That's what you need.
He'll watch the 2000 YouTube stuff just to be caught up on what happened 25 years ago. So
NBA guy like you.
Yeah,
loves
I
the
think.
NBA.
I mean, Jake's like my little cousin. I think the world of him. I think it's a great pickup for CF. The amount of content, the value he will add to Fanatic is hard to even imagine, really. And then kudos to the subscribers, as you said, also the CF ownership group for continuing to invest in a product that nobody else is right now, quite frankly.
Well,
and that's encouraging that there's still people out there that, because Iowa State fans deserve it. I wholeheartedly agree with this, C-Dub, and I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit. The rise of Iowa State does not happen, in my opinion, in the last 15 years without Cyclone Fanatic. Now, you could argue Cyclone Fanatic doesn't exist either at this current state without the rise of Iowa State athletics too.
Absolutely.
It goes hand in hand. But 100%, it's not coincidental that once Iowa State started getting equal attention from a site dedicated just to Iowa State, things really picked up. And it's no mystery that the average attendance, now there's 61,500 in there, without a Cyclone Fanatic, I don't know if that's the case. There would still be more people than there was in the early 2000s, don't get me wrong. But I think Fanatic has something really special in the fact that people continue to invest in it, including the readers, the watchers now, the listeners. That's what it's all about. So I think this is a kudos to everybody, not just Jake, not just you, but to everybody who's been a part of the journey.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's a couple points I would make to that. Thank you. One is, without our ownership group, we have a very selfless ownership team that could pocket a lot of money that they put back into the product. And, look around media in general. Not a lot of media profiting because of the way that the media ecosystem is just set up with these conglomerates. But our group, when I saw this was a possibility, go get him.
Yeah.
It wasn't there was no ifs, ands, buts. Like, it was, we want the best coverage for Iowa State fans as possible. Like that, and however you think you can do that, do it. So, one, like, that is a testament to them. Two, if you are a subscriber, I told you at the beginning of this, like, that we're putting your subscription dollars back into the product, and I hope you've seen that. We also, I'm excited that by the time Media Days come around, we will have a new website up and running. We will have our mobile app up and running. We are investing in this, and we want to keep getting better. And I hope that I hope people see that. We're not always perfect. Not everything we do is a home run. And that'll be the case, but you also have to swing and miss to hit a home run sometimes, right? Like you gotta feel that out. And I think that this current setup that we have it's like our version of Campbell Otzelberger, like it feels really strong. And I think that we're going to do some special things together, especially we always have like that cornerstone and Rob Gray's like our Bill Fennelly, who, it's just like our rock.
Just always
Yep. There. And we can all lean on him. And like Jacqueline and Aiden have both done so much to take things off of my plate so that I could do more. And I do a lot of our sales. I do all of our sales now. So, right, like I don't have time to just sit and cover every press conference and stuff like I wish I did. that sounds pretty fun right now. But this whole thing is evolving.
Yeah.
And I hope people, you don't even have to appreciate it. I do hope you appreciate our ownership group though, and the fact that they continue to allow us to build this up. Would Cyclone Fanatic have existed, or what? Somebody else would have tried this.
Oh yeah,
no doubt. The reason this was able to thrive is because of patience with the ownership group. Like we lost money for a long time doing this, but they saw the vision, and really this was just a group of Iowa State fans who were just disgruntled because they didn't think their Cyclones got enough attention in the media. They thought it was lopsided.
It was.
And here we are. We are and I know we need to do something for this. Cyclone Fanatic's 20 now. Everybody's like, oh, you need to throw.
Crazy.
I just don't have time to put anything together. I know we need to do it. Jeremy started this thing we're 20 now. Not with this current ownership group, but when Jeremy Lin came around and popped this whole thing up. So it's really, you think about that, it's a fifth of a century, that's 2 decades this website has been around. And
hey man, I was one of those, even when Jeremy Lin first started it, I was one of those workers like, what's going on with Wayne Morgan? What? And now it's half our lives.
I was at Scout at the time.
Half our lives on that message board, dang it.
Yeah. I was at Scout. Well, you were with me.
Yeah, I was with you.
When CF first popped up, and we're like, who's this?
Who is this guy?
Renegade.
Why is he stealing all of our nuggets?
Yeah.
Who does he know?
Yeah. He knew somebody.
He did. It's pretty cool. No, I think I'm excited for Jake because I know you guys are going to get to know him really well. Awesome dude, knows his stuff.
And he's the type who I'll have to rein in.
Yeah.
I'll never have to be like, hey, Jake, I need you to do more. Like, I'm going to be like, okay, you don't need 6 stories out of that. And that's what you want. Like, that's the type of worker. That's how we built this thing. Like, we were sick. Like, it was. I remember when I first started, like, the goal was to write 6 articles a day. And we hit it more often than not. We hit it. We were, and that was before we even had a front page on the website. It was just in a message board. Remember that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, I pull up some of my old articles. If you get really bored, it's like what?
The Vintage Bloom column was one of the great.
Who allowed us to do that? Kudos to the ownership group for even what is going on?
There's no way they were reading that stuff.
No, that's true.
It was fun though. I think I referenced this a few weeks ago. I recently spent some time with Paul Rhodes.
Yeah,
and it took me back to a lot of those early days when we both came back here. Because I left for a few years, but I was still writing Cyclone stuff for the rival site for Paul Clark's Cyclone Report. And when we came back up here, Rhodes is the coach. And just bullshitting with Paul for an hour and a half like I did, it was like, man.
Time zone or time machine.
Yeah. Because to me, it does not feel like Matt Campbell's been here for 10 years.
No, that's crazy. It
that's
really
more
is.
than 2 presidential terms. Like, think about that. Like, it feels like Matt's like a new guy here, to me. And I don't know.
Matt's tenure doesn't get talked about enough nationally about how good it has been.
I would
It's
agree.
been nice. There's been a few articles. I think one came out last week. I don't know what everyone's doing the top 10 lists. We're in Mount Rushmore season. Clearly.
It's the brutal time of year,
which is good because normally it's just chaotic. And
it's why we're talking about this.
It's been nice to get back to top 10 list season. But they had, I think the couple lists had Matt as the number one coach in the Big 12, and it's really hard to argue that. I don't know how you can right now. Based on longevity, success, consistency, it's Matt. It's Matt. I mean, you could say Dillingham maybe is
as a prospect. And, he won the championship,
but I don't. It's pretty crazy how.
If you're put it this
Matt
way,
has done.
Let's say Michigan or Alabama even had to hire a coach tomorrow, and you could pick anyone in the Big 12. Who would it be? Maybe Dillingham because he's
Dillingham if you're the one to get.
But he really only won once.
He's 30.
I'm just saying, Alabama has an opening. They have to hire a sitting Big 12 coach.
I don't think they're going Kenny Dillingham. I don't
either.
No, I think Oregon might. Okay, because he was there. But Alabama with no ties.
Michigan would go Campbell.
Michigan would go Campbell over Dillingham. I think it's.
Where does Dion fit in?
Yeah, and then Kleiman's been consistent, but he's not real.
At the end of last year, people were shitting on Kleiman down there.
Yeah. No, you're right. Who else would it be? Not Gundy. He's out.
Gundy's toast.
Sonny Dykes. No. Not Aranda.
That looks more and more like they were just like a team of destiny that kept getting bounces.
It makes
that
you
year.
wonder. I keep coming back to that. I'm not trying to bring up conspiracy theories, but they hired I think it was the LSU strength coach, and they brought in a bunch of transfers. And I remember in that game, if you go back and watch the game between TCU and Iowa State in 22, okay? 22?
Was that the disastrous last game of the year?
Yeah, it was 60-7. It was Rocco's first real game.
Rocco played, yeah.
And that's actually when they first realized, holy cow, this guy's actually a gamer. And they gave him a chance because of that, which was interesting. He was not supposed to be the guy, and then he actually surprised him that day. But if you go back and watch that broadcast, they're like, yeah, the Iowa State coach was like, man, TCU got really big. Like, they had some massive investment in the weight room or something going on there that nobody else did. And so that the newness really helped them in a lot of areas, I'll just say, for TCU.
I think Matt would be the guy.
I think he's got to be, right? Sataki's a good dude.
Matt is
past his prime.
Matt's very much now in the Pat Fitzgerald reputation pre the whole thing that happened at Northwestern. Mm-hmm. But it's like the guy who's won consistently at the place where you're not supposed to win. And like Dabo was a little bit like that when they got really big. It was like, oh, this guy's, and then that whole story changed.
But like Dabo was doing it with 5-star guys. This is what
you're
Matt
right. That's a bad
more
comp. You're right.
And even like a Bill Snyder was doing it with partial qualifiers. It's hard. I think Fitzgerald's the best comp here from
I would agree.
The mid 2000s ish. Just because Matt's continually done it, and now he's getting NFL guys.
But Fitzgerald could have taken a lot of those jobs along the way.
He could have too, absolutely.
Yeah. He could have gone to SEC teams, and he probably had a lot of Big Ten interest at the time as well.
And the Matt stuff is not like he's had interest every offseason for the last 7 years. And I think it doesn't get talked about enough of like what does he always say? Literally like actions speak louder than words. I'm still here. It's like, at some point you got to recognize how cool that is.
Chapter about that in the book too.
Okay. Well,
now you're just leading me right into these.
We are really lucky to have that guy for so many reasons, and I think they're going to be really good this year. I do.
I think Matt Campbell. We've worked with a lot of interesting coaches, a lot of really good people. Some people we didn't really like. Mm-hmm. We all have our own experiences with all of them. Matt, probably of all the people I know, is one of the humans who I could just envision being like CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Well, he kind of is, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
that's exactly what he is.
yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I could see Matt translating and just going and like working in a skyscraper in Manhattan and going up, like, and just kicking ass because he's just that kind of a dude.
It's it's a lot like we've all met people like this where when you meet them, you feel like you're the only one there, which is a super rare quality when you're somebody with the status and the people that he meets every day. But he seemingly, even if he doesn't want to, makes time for everybody. And having talked to Matt, he doesn't necessarily love the donor stuff, but he's unbelievable at it. Like he is a Fortune 500 CEO, but it seems like everybody likes him. Like it's hard to find anybody up in Ames in that football complex in the athletic department who doesn't appreciate Matt. Now, the other thing I'll say about Matt, though, Matt is competitive as heck, and he will fight for every inch for his guys, which I think endears him even more to those teammates. So that's not to say that he is like soft or anything. He can be a monster in a good way, but everybody respects the guy. He treats everybody great, and that's why the lack of drama in the football program is unbelievable. Over 10 years, it's an unbelievable side story.
Yeah, I always like to do the whole thing with Matt. How do your employees and how do your like friends or
there you go.
How does your wife or anybody talk about you when you're not in the room? Have you ever heard one of Matt's players or coaches say it? I'm serious. I've never heard one of them.
A fan? I mean, has anybody really had like a bad?
The Matt idiots, Campbell? But that like
but they're
like,
not.
Not like him as a human. They can question his coach. Yeah,
the coaching is one thing. Like
it's up for debate. He makes $5 million a year. Yeah, whatever.
But I just this isn't. And I know like your co-host Ross Peterson over the years, like, oh, we always think our guy's the best guy, and I understand that. I get that.
But we also know our guy like that.
But who is Matt? Just is a rare. Like we're lucky to have him. I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that. And the fact that this is going on year number 10 is just amazing that he's done this at Iowa State and what that has meant for the athletic program. But I guess the reason why we started this is because Fanatic's been there every inch of the way. Chris, it's funny to go back. We did a podcast when Rhodes was let go, and we did the top 5 candidates, and I think he was number 1. Like it's fun to go back and listen to what we said about them. We're like, well,
it was probably like him and Fleck.
It was him, Fleck. It was Tony.
What's his
Alford.
Name from Buffalo at the time? Leipold.
Leipold was in the mix for sure. Yep. I think it was those 4.
If Matt didn't get the job, I think Leipold would have been head coach.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been too.
I mean, I don't know that. Jamie doesn't talk about this stuff, but I'm almost positive that Leipold was Iowa State's guy.
I think he was second. Like they wanted Matt number 1. They went to see him. Jamie's told the story a lot. They would not let him leave the room without, basically committing. And Matt committed on the spot. Didn't even go talk to Missouri. Because Missouri was the other one that wanted him at that point. But I think it might have been Lance. I do. I think that's a great point. It's that fun what-if game.
Well, I remember at the time, Lance was not that big of a name.
No, he was 1 year at Buffalo at the time.
Yeah, but he came from the D3 Wisconsin ranks.
Yeah, it was a
which Pollard was very familiar with through his Wisconsin ties. And that clearly, like, he knew what he was looking for. Because Matt and Lance are pretty similar. I mean, not like personality-wise, but like backgrounds. It's fairly similar.
Builders. They're both builders. Yeah. Good stuff. Having been up there a little bit the last couple of weeks, I think this football team's, again, topping 11 wins. I'm not saying they're going to top 11 wins. Like 11 wins has never happened before. But I think this team's going to be right there in almost every game. And then it just comes down to, does the ball bounce your way?
All right, so keep that thought. Let's thank some great sponsors. And you just led me into the second part of the podcast today. Former Matt Campbell player Colin Newell is my main man when it comes to all my insurance needs. He does Bloom as well.
Saw Colin today.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's great. Colin's great. Saw some of the Farm Bureau team. They're great supporters of all things Iowa State.
Farm Bureau Financial Services, Colin Newell. I also want to thank our buddy Chappie, Andrew Chaplin. This selling the hell out of houses all over the place.
You know what? He's based in Ames. He came to see me at the iCubs game. That's what.
That's super nice of Chappie.
Yeah, it was very nice. He was made his way, just to say hello to me and Crystal. And what a guy! What a guy Chappie is.
Kelderman Manufacturing. Did Kelderman come up to the show?
He didn't. He didn't. But
I saw Kelderman last week. He stopped by the garage. Picked up some signs.
I bet if I had the guys over at Knoxville or something, he would have been there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Last but certainly not least, we thank our friends at the Iowa State University Foundation. MoveWhatMatters.com. Doing a new shoot for them coming up. Going out to Vet Med.
Oh,
taking the wife.
Get a little animal action.
We're going to help raise some money for their new pet cancer thing out there.
Oh man, what a cool cause that is.
Well, I took Diffie to chemotherapy for about a year and a half.
Dirks.
Yes, Dirks. You start to get the dogs' names mixed up.
We're getting old.
Diffie, praise God, does not have cancer. He's only one, but he did just celebrate his first birthday. So happy birthday to Diffie.
Yes.
What a great dog, by the way. So blessed to have him. I mean, what a phenomenal dog. Yeah. That dog is. These dogs are, you lost your baby Zoe recently, and God bless her. These dogs are part of the family. Man.
Oh yeah, we got Big Frank at our house. He's been holding down the fort.
Yep, Frank's a hoss, man.
He's something.
Our dogs are named Frank and Diffie. Come on, what are we doing?
I call him Frank after the Big Hurt, so I call him Big.
Oh
Frank.
yeah,
remember who that is?
Frank Thomas.
Hurt? Frank Thomas. There we go. Just testing everybody.
It was always shocking to me that he didn't hit more home runs too. He was kind of just like an average hitter.
And now he's doing advertisements for testosterone therapy.
Yeah, he's Friends at Game Day should get him.
That's right. Him and Doug Flutie, what a combo.
The Iowa State topic we were going to tackle here. Also thank our friends at Wiffles Hybrids, by the way, because we're not going to do a Big 12 segment because this is going to be more of a Big
12
Iowa.
segment.
Yeah, Wiffles Hybrids, Big 12, baby. Plant your independence, plant Wiffles. Last year we built, and I think we were right for the most part. Women's basketball wasn't as hot as we were hoping as far as national scale. The men, while the men's team didn't get to the Final Four, they were ranked in the top 10 all season. So I don't think we were wrong.
Wrong, right.
And football won a record number of games. When we built it as the most anticipated year in Iowa State history, I think it lived up to it, right?
It's a good question to ask for the fans. Did it? I mean,
the basketball thing is just so skewed on March.
It is.
That's what's hard. If you don't, then people don't think it's a successful year. But what I'm saying is, when you said when we built it that, there's
this time last year,
there's no guarantees. It was still a very entertaining and success. You were in the top 10 all year. You could say it's a fact. Did it end the way we wanted it to? Absolutely not. There's no doubt about that. There's this drama at the end. It felt weird, but it was still highly successful.
So I want to address something real quick on the basketball front, and we'll get into more of this. We got some criticism online, and again, it was very fair criticism of the Keyshawn Gilbert thing about how this poster who's really good, who I think very thoughtful, said, "Hey, you guys dismissed that too quickly." I wasn't dismissing the fact that it wasn't an issue for Iowa State basketball. What I was dismissing was what I called a nothing burger, I believe was the quote I used, was the fact that there was some sort of egregious thing with him and a teammate and a teammate's girlfriend or something. That's what I called a nothing burger. There was nothing there. There was clearly Keyshawn's, is he injured or is he not injured? He's going to play. Is he not going to play? It's definitely impacted the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely a learning opportunity for everybody in Iowa State basketball. Do we handle that differently going forward? Potentially. So when I said nothing burger, I didn't mean hey, the fans are crazy for wondering what happened there. You're not. It was more that there wasn't anything untoward or illegal or totally egregious here. It was more just I would say a disagreement between the injuries. Is he or is he not injured? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Type situation.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I just want to make that clear because again, do we look out for the best for Iowa State? Absolutely. We're not going to lie to you though. Like people accuse us of just covering. It's not that. It's like there was nothing with a girlfriend or something like that, and I just wanted to address that here.
Yeah, we were alluding to that nonsense.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's what I called a nothing burger.
Okay, so the conversation I wanted to have is if that was the most anticipated season ever, and again, when we say season, it's like big picture, everything. Mm-hmm. Where does this year sit? Because one could make an argument the football expectations really shouldn't be much different. I think the schedule's a lot tougher.
Yes, I would say preseason, C-Dub, the expectations for football are higher for this coming season than they were a year ago at this time.
Nationally, but I don't know if internally they are.
Correct. That's a great point.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like internally it's any bigger or smaller.
Last year at this time, it was very clear. After spring ball, it was the speculation and the talk we were getting from the football staff, and they're usually really good, was we have no idea how people are going to stop both Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. And guess what? They were right.
Yeah.
Nobody could. You're not hearing that type of level of individual talent from specifically the offensive side of the ball, but there is a feeling, I would say, that the strength in numbers is maybe a little bit better, and staying healthy, which they didn't do, obviously, at the linebacker position, could make the defense better, and then the offense just it won't probably be as dynamic, because when you lose Higgins and Knoll, like, it's going to be hard to replace those two. But between the guys coming in and the returning guys and some health, the line should be pretty physical. You can hopefully mix and match is probably not the right term, but you get what I'm saying, like a more consistent throughout the entire team type effort, not having just three superstars with Rocco, Jalen, and Jaden.
Yeah.
But the schedule is harder. Like, you have to factor that in. You
factor that in, but I don't know. Knock on wood, the injury thing, it just feels like it can't be that bad again.
Yeah.
It's got to be better.
The other elephant in the room is they won 4 games by 1 possession late. So, can you do that again? I think Rocco's pretty special.
But then I would make the argument after that, like, you look at the years before that and how many games did they lose by? That was the big thing is, they can't win close games.
Matt win close games. I know. That went away.
So, and then that flipped, like, is it all just coming back to average, right? Like, I don't know. But I do think that I don't think these close games are going to go anywhere. Y'all better call Hope Wood, because I think I think this is going to be how's the kicker look? How's the punt game?
Yep.
How are you doing on? Yeah, Rocco, don't throw any more pick sixes.
Good. Yeah.
Don't fumble the football. D-line, special teams, like that to me is what it will likely come down. Like, they're going to be in 1 possession games. More of them than not, I would guess.
And probably 2 of the first 3 games will be 1 possession games. Like that K-State game and that Iowa game are going to go right down the wire.
I would agree.
And both
can you make the kick? Can you hold on to the football? Can you, block a kick here and there? Like, that's how I see this season going. It's like, I think this could be 7-5 pretty easily. I think this could be 10-2 pretty easily. I think this could be 6-6 at a bad, like, it could be 11-1. Like, but what I do, my conviction on this team is that it's going to be a lot of these one-scoring games.
They're going to be in it.
One-score games.
So I think expectation-wise, on par with a year ago for football. I'll just say on par. Don't expect. Again, why would anybody expect 11 wins? I don't think that should be the baseline. But if everything breaks right, like it did at times last year, I think, this team could be just as good as that team and play for a Big 12 championship. The Athlon magazine even said it. Would that coach say Iowa State could be playing for a Big 12 championship again?
Nope.
I think that's the ceiling, is a Big 12 championship for sure.
It's a good ceiling to have.
Yes.
So then let's go to men's basketball because, again, like, feels on the surface, maybe like the expectations are down but then you look at the national stuff. They're going to be top 15 everywhere, probably top 10 in most. You've got the best point guard in the league, best 3-man in the league, maybe the best 4-man in the league. Am I giving them all too much credit? I don't know. You know better than me.
Shoot.
This is where I need you and Jake Brend to do this one because I don't know at all.
Jake's really good at basketball. Joshua and Taman are both first-team All Big 12 guys, like they have been. So I don't think that's a stretch. And then Milan's got a chance now. We all know that.
Milan's in the Matt Thomas conversation for me.
Mm-hmm. I like that comp. I do.
It's like because once Matt hit the gas, it was like, oh,
he's
different guy. And we saw glimpses of that at the end of last year. There were multiple moments where you watched him and you were like, wow. If he can do that, like you do have 3 first-team caliber dudes.
No doubt. I saw Milan last week and looks more athletic. Again, what does that mean? I don't know. He looked bigger. He looked like a guy who's turning into his junior year should look when you get to college. I thought this was interesting. Our guy Alec Bussey at 247 had a really good article recently that was enlightening for me. Did you know, C-Dub, only one team is returning 50% or more of its minutes from the Big 12? Only one team in the Big 12 is returning 50% more of its minutes played from a year ago. Do you know who that is? Iowa State. Iowa State also has the most returning production with 47% of its scoring. So at first blush, you're thinking, oh my gosh, how do they replace Curtis?
Yeah.
How do they replace Keyshawn? How do you replace Deshaun? What do they do with that big? Well, everyone else is fighting the same thing. Now, you could argue they had more impactful transfers based on the transfer market and what was compensated for these players. But Iowa State did actually really strategically well, in my opinion. And they're gonna fit really well be around those all 3 Big 12, those Big 12 guys. And Nate Heisey's back, by the way. Who had an
I was thinking about him
months.
when Jake and I we were all brainstorming on like stories to write or to work on, and like I was going through their practice photos because practice started today.
Yes, the workouts have commenced.
And I saw Heisey standing there. I'm like, dude's not going to get talked about nearly enough. Like, that'll be the guy.
23, 24 years old now.
Yeah.
And not afraid of his soul. Like, he learned the hard way. It was like, all right,
dude,
now I belong.
All the shit he took last year is going to make him better.
Huge. So expectation-wise, I think on the surface will be lower than it was going into last year. And obviously it was picked top 10. This team will be top 15. However,
maybe that's better.
I think it is. And then, just it's going to be exciting, I think, for fans. Why last year's team was exciting and got so much hype, CW, is you kind of knew exactly what you were going to get. It was basically a redo from the year prior. Outside of switching out Big Rob and Hassan for Deshaun and Joshua. But this year, there's still a little bit more of a question mark. Now, you get Joshua, you get Taman, you get Milan, you get Nate. But how does a Buchanan fit in, right? From Virginia, who in a couple weeks has been impressive so far athletically. Can Jamarian Bateman come in and really contribute? Does the kid from Utah Valley, Nelson, come in and make a big impact? I consider this team a lot more like the team 2 years ago when you brought in a Jones, a Gilbert, a Pavletsky at the time, and you didn't know which one of those 3 guys would emerge. Turns out it was Curtis and Keyshawn. And we kind of similar. Like, we're not sure which one of these guys is going to pop, but I really believe somebody will. And in my opinion, on the surface, on June 16th, those 3 that are returning, those 3 potential All Big 12 first team guys, are better than what Iowa State was bringing back from that group 2 years ago. When they inserted Keyshawn and Curtis. And that team obviously had a great year, won 26 games, 2 seed, all the above. I'd say the ceiling for this team is the same thing. And I don't want to say it's a 1 seed, but I think this team is as capable as just about anybody in the Big 12. Now, Houston, BYU, who else is going to be picked up there? Kansas, maybe. But as far as...
Is Kansas deserving, or is that off of...
They return... So on the same... Because Bussey did some good research here. 10% of their...
I want to read this. Bussey does a good job.
He does a really good job. But only 10% of their scoring returns. Now, again...
That's what I'm saying. It feels like nothing. Like, I don't even know who they have.
And then Houston is the other one, right? And they're 35%. So now we know they have good players, both of them. But as far as actual production that you've seen at this level, Iowa State has the most in the conference.
Is it not a little bit like crazy to think about what Sampson's built down there?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, though, if you think about like his age, where he did it,
does he ever,
they weren't a power conference at the time. Like, it is really impressive, and it's like, here's the thing, and I don't feel this way with Self anymore, because
good point.
You know more about basketball than I do. Here's my read on Self in Kansas: a guy who always won with the best.
He did.
He always had the best players. He always had the best resources. He always had every advantage.
Winning is always hard, no matter if you have the best.
No, I'm not disrespecting him, but what I'm saying is now he doesn't have. It was like Saban at Alabama. You're not doubting his greatness.
Good comp.
Like, I mean, would Phil Jackson have done well if all of a sudden he was at OKC?
Great point.
Right? Like, no, because some guys, that's what they. And I don't know, like, if our guys Campbell and Otzelberger would do that well at Texas, and I don't know, like, but I know they fit here. What I'm saying is, like, Self, to me, you had all these advantages, and they were cheating, right? Like, they got caught. Like, but everybody is in college basketball. Like, I am not the guy who, like, show me a good program at that era that wasn't cheating. Like, they all were.
They did better than anybody else, but anyway.
What Samson? Here's my point. Like, now I look at Kansas, and it's like, you got the crowd. Of course, you're going to get great players, but you don't have that edge that you did. Sampson, to me, he built it at a mid-major in a pro sports town on the back of like his really he's TJ. He's old TJ. He's an older version of TJ. I almost, part of me, it doesn't even matter what they have as long as they have the athletes and Sampson's the coach. Like, I know they're going to be top 3 in the league is the way I feel about Houston right now.
Interestingly, how much older do you think Sampson is than Self? I just looked it up.
Well, he looks a lot older.
He does. So Sampson's
got to be 70, right?
69.
Okay.
And then old Bill Self, 62.
Okay. So, yeah, it would have been about what I guessed.
But
okay.
To that point, why I always appreciated Self is he always got good players to buy in and play hard.
Absolutely.
But Sampson gets a different type of player. Like, they're not getting 5 stars at Houston, but he gets these really tough-minded guys to just go. It's what Larry did at Iowa State, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But he's doing it in a modern era, which is almost impossible to do. He's doing what Larry and Bob Knight did in the 90s, but he's doing it in 2024 when it's 25, when a lot of players don't want that anymore.
Well, and I guess to clarify what I'm saying about Self, and by the way, I'm not sure he's not the greatest of all time. Okay, like he's in. I mean, Krzyzewski, like there's others, Wooden, of course, but like that we've covered. He's probably the best, right?
But Sampson doesn't get talked about enough in this current era.
Yeah, and I'm glad that this is where we're going with it. Because my point with Self, if his roster was a 10, he didn't play against many other 10s in that old Big 12. I mean, it was like, Oklahoma State was an 8 for a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, Texas had good rosters, but it was always like weird.
Young guys, they were always flaky. They were very flaky.
I mean, Drew back in the day before he really figured out like not just to do all the one and like high end guys, but it never you're right. Like, but Self had the 10, but he got them all to like buy in. So you give him the credit for that. But my point is, if he had a 10 then and everybody else was at a 7 or an 8, well, now if he's at an 8, there's a lot of 8s out there.
Yes. Great.
So I don't think in this era you can just be like, well, they're Kansas. I don't think it works anymore.
It doesn't. And I'll be curious if they get their mix back that have made. He is struggling in this era because I think they want to get the splashy transfer guy, but where Bill Self was always good was, in a way, it's the Campbell program building. Mm-hmm. He was just doing it with 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
And so by the time they were...
Did it as good as anybody's ever done it.
I think you can look at the players that he developed from freshmen to seniors that were really impressive. A guy, we joke about it, but a guy like a Cole Aldrich or
Perry Ellis.
A Landon Lucas, right? These guys that come in as kind of now good players, but they stayed
And then
they
they're
developed
great.
and then they're really good. Well, he
Yeah.
can't do that anymore because what they're running into now, C-Dub, is they're really good players that don't play as freshmen. They're just bouncing. And it's a
Which I
different
think will
game.
happen in football a lot.
I totally agree.
This is
I
where the
totally
Big
agree
12
with
and the
that.
ACC need to really set their sights in recruiting.
Your current coaches in those leagues, especially in football, it's a great point, is you got to be good at quick acclimation with, I don't want to call them projects necessarily, but guys who didn't play at a certain level and acclimate them into the system. Why I have so much respect for Kelvin Sampson is he's never gotten the Bill Self talent, but he gets those guys to play so hard. And to get guys to play that hard with the NIL era is wild. And they're going to be good again. Interestingly, how about this stat? There are 3 Big 12 schools that returned 0 minutes from last year. 0. No players.
Wow.
And they're
I
Baylor,
mean, West Virginia?
West Virginia, UCF.
I would have
Although
never
they-
guessed Baylor.
Yeah, everybody left. They all left. Crazy.
Where will they be slotted?
I mean, they got a haul in the portal. Don't get me wrong. And he's got some freshmen that are really good. But man,
What a deal that guy is.
he has seen it
Yeah.
all down there.
He really has. I
Speaking
read
of
his
a
book. Did you read his book?
No, but he needs to write another one because he has seen it all.
The problem with his book, and it's not a problem. A lot of it was about his faith, which is totally fine. It's a big part of who Scott Drew is, and I don't have a problem with him writing about it. I went into it thinking it was a basketball book.
Anyway, yeah.
The chapters on the building of the program was really interesting. But it was a lot about like. So I would love to read a basketball who I think does. I don't know. I feel like Mark Few invented the current roster build. I think he did it before anybody.
Few's another one of those guys. I was like, they are good every single year.
Yeah, and he was the first guy, in my opinion, who he would have 2 grad transfers,
Yep.
2 set out transfers.
Yep.
I've got
McDonald's All-American. They've started to get him in.
Yep. And then he's like, I got 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, and then I got 3 freshmen I'm rolling the dice on. I'll cut 2 of them. I felt like he was the first great roster builder in college basketball.
And do you know who his main roster builder was? Tommy Lloyd at Arizona.
Really? Yeah.
He was the
great point.
He was the
Great point.
assistant there. So
Brent, I can't even think about going back to Tucson.
Arizona returns 38% of its scoring. So another one of those teams that could be pretty good. I mean, they did a nice job in the portal, but I'm telling you guys, I know we think about how does Iowa State replace Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert and on and on and on. Everybody else is asking those same questions. And so I think this, going into next year for the basketball team, it won't have top 10 expectations. But long term, I think this team, will they ever get to number 2 in the nation? I'm not calling for that either because that team spent how many weeks at number 2? But I think this team can be, just as formidable and get a 2 or 3 seed. I believe that.
Women's team we really like.
Yeah, they're upside, and I think they learned a lesson in how they constructed the team last year. And I say this respectfully, of they still need what that team missed was that dribble driver to create something. Emily could only do so much, and they addressed that with Jada Williams. Jada takes them from. I mean, she's just the dynamic player they haven't had in a long time. Just super, super dynamic, can make things happen. She'll turn it over a little bit too, okay? That's going to happen. But look at Addie Brown's, if you get bored today, look at Addie Brown's last 6 weeks. Unbelievable. The numbers that she put up. I know Audie gets the attention. Audie was the leading scorer of the Big 12. She should. Audie's awesome. I love Audie. But when you have Audie and Addie, now you throw in a dynamic playmaker at the guard spot who can get you 20 pretty easily. You still got some shooters around. This Evangelina Polk's going to play and be impactful. They won't be ranked in the top 10, but they'll be ranked in the top 15. I mean, I think you're looking again, C-Dub, 3 programs in the top 20 out of those 3. Wrestling, by the way, just had a monster portal week. They're going to be good again. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun year, everybody.
Props to David Carr on making Team USA.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
awesome.
then Audie Natty made the under 20 team or under 21 team or they made the tryouts at least. They made the tryouts for that. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff. I mean, for all the chaos of college sports, it's fun to actually sit back and go, okay, this year's going to be really, really fun. It is. And we're in for a special year again.
Times are good, my friend.
Yeah, they are. Can we keep them up? I hope so. But that's...
Well, it's all on you.
It's WeWillCollective.com. And by the way, without Cyclone Fanatic, WeWillCollective.com doesn't do very well either. So thank you for all your help over the years.
We're here for you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right. Hey, I'm giving you Wednesday off. Brend and I are going to record.
I'm golfing then.
Well, reason being because I'm going to Florida. I think you might have Sunday off, too, if you want it.
Hey, more golf for me. I'll just golf all week.
I'm letting Brend really just get his Cyclone Fanatic pick.
Get the sea legs. You guys
Brend
like
makes his Cyclone Fanatic. Well, it's not his debut. He's been on before.
Yeah.
But he's going to be with me for a Wednesday show because I'm going to Florida for 5 days. Come back,
my friend.
And then Big 12 Media Day is just around the corner. It's here.
It's coming.
All right, he's Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Williams and Blum on Cyclone Fanatic. We will be back probably in about 10 days together. Little summer break. We will be refreshed, ready to go for football season. Later.